Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
I said, Sam, don't you see I have all these bags in my hand? And I was going up the stairs. He said, well, you women, you say you're so independent and you can do anything.
This is the plaintiff, Jamila Fahadi. She says she was hired to cater an event for the defendant and was expecting 70 people for a birthday celebration. The very day of the party, the defendant freaked out on her, told her she was too much drama for him to deal with, and fired her. She'd been working for days buying chicken, making sauces, preparing rice, and deserves to be paid the $250 she's owed. This is the defendant, Samuel Alston. He says he hired the plaintiff to prepare food for a party he throws every year called Brother Sam's Birthday Bash and Ballpark Reunion. He took her to get the chicken and took her back because they gave her drumsticks instead of wings. She told him she had no pots and pans to cook. The woman was obviously in way over her head and basically quit on the morning of the party. And if she thinks he's giving her any more money than he already has, she's even more delusional than he originally thought. He's accused of cooking up a lawsuit. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $150 for having to hire another cook.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Jamila Bahati?
Yes.
You are suing Samuel Alston, your neighbor. He's also the super of the building?
That's correct.
Oh, this is inconvenient. For $250 that you say he owes you for your time spent preparing a catered meal for him. You are counterclaiming against her $150. $50 that you extra that she, I guess you're saying, forced you to give her, and $100 that you had to pay somebody else to cook on the day that everything went right into the toilet and she refused to cook for your birthday party. What happened?
Okay, Mr. Austin came to me and asked me would I be interested in catering his birthday party. This was in January, and it was to be in March.
Okay.
I said, sure.
Have you ever catered before?
No, my ex-husband and I had a restaurant for 3 years in Atlanta, Georgia. And my ex-husband is now a chef, a certified chef.
Okay, but he's not taking the catering contract. You are. So have you ever catered for, did he tell you how many people?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Oh, now you have?
From our restaurant.
From our restaurant.
So I'm not a professional.
Right, but you're not at the restaurant. You're actually just living in your apartment,
That's
right?
correct.
Okay. Have you ever catered from your apartment?
No,
You're
never.
not a professional?
No.
Okay. So he tells you how much, or you quote to him how much?
He told me how much he was willing.
And what did he tell you was the budget?
$250.
To feed how many people?
It was originally for 70 people.
And then?
Then it became 100 people.
It was originally for 70, and then it became 100.
After
okay.
he gave me the money, then he upped it to 100.
Right, but then you got other money from him. You got an additional $50 to
Correct.
cover that up.
Correct.
Okay. And so how were you going to cater for 100 people? For
I didn't think about it, Your Honor.
I mean, you're going to feed people for $3 a person and profit. So just the food.
I didn't think into
well,
it.
but it doesn't take much thought. For $3, you have to feed a human being. I'm sure there's a bunch of big boys, right? And then you're supposed to take your profit out of that too.
Exactly.
That kind of sounds inexplicable, like it can't happen. So why'd you say yes?
I thought that he would be an upstanding person to say, okay, well, this is not enough, because I mentioned to him, I said, this is not enough, Sam.
Why didn't you just give him the money back and tell him to find another person?
Because I wanted to do it. He is not only the super, he's a friend of my family.
Okay.
So I was willing to work with him, and besides, I thought that this would help put my foot in the door to.
Okay, so you had your reasons. You're not so stupid.
Yeah, no, I wanted to.
This was like a goodwill kind of thing, but except for that, the goodwill, how'd that work out for you? Not so good,
It's
right?
not working out at
okay,
all.
so now what happened? How did everything break down?
From the beginning, he had been getting very rude and saying disrespectful, insulting things. Well, it ended when he slammed the door in my face.
Right. What was he saying that was disrespectful? Let me be the judge of whether it's disrespectful.
When I went grocery shopping and I had the bags, I came into the door with the bags, he refused to help me until there was a gentleman that came in who he was showing an apartment to. He picked up the bags to help me, and as we were going up the stairs, he grabbed a few bags. He said to me, "Why don't you pick up 2 more bags?" I said, "Sam, don't you see I have all these bags in my hand?" And I was going up the stairs. He said, "Well, you women, you say you're so independent and you can do anything." And I said, "I never said that I'm a feminist. Not that I have anything against feminists."
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
You know, but you just insulted me. I said that was very rude and insensitive of you to say something like that.
All this fight is happening with the tenant?
And I live on the 5th floor.
No, but is a prospective tenant right there while all this is going on?
Yes. Yeah.
According to you, what was going on?
From the beginning.
What is this party, by the way?
It's a reunion. I'm a bowler. I bowl, and the bowling alley that I bowl in closed down. So, since it closed down, every year we have a dance, but it just so happens that it falls the same month of my birthday, so I call it Brother Sam's Birthday Bash / Ballpark Reunion. So,
Brother Sam, Sam.
I'm Brother Sam. That's what I call myself.
Brother Sam's Birthday Bash and Ballpark was the name of the bowling alley reunion. Okay.
So.
So she starts coming to you with problems.
Well, she starts coming to me with situations, problems, and I explained to her that in the future, we hire somebody to do the food, and that's the end of it to the day that we get the food. She called me back. She said, "I need aluminum foil." She called me back. She said, "I need pans." She called me back, and I'm like, "Jamila, this is too much drama for the food. I should be worrying about
Why
security."
Would you think that 200? I should be worried about what?
I should be worrying about security, DJ, ticket sales.
Ticket sales. Okay.
Right? The food is a giveaway. It's not like I take the food and sell it. I take the food and I actually give it to whoever
Right. How are you going to feed 100 people on 250
Well, it wasn't 100 people. It was 50 people. Everybody brings their food.
Oh, they bring food as well.
People bring their food. It's a bring your own brown bag.
Oh, okay.
So people bring your food.
So this is just like kind of an extra thing.
Yeah, so this is for somebody who didn't bring food or just greedy or whatever you want to call it. You know, so this is a giveaway. So it should be
So
my
you didn't
least
expect her to call
worry.
you about aluminum foil or pans or ask you to help her bring stuff in?
You know, that's really not my problem. But
so everything gets to a boiling point. Is it the day before the party?
The day of.
The day of.
The day of. The day of the party, the day of the dance, she calls me, I don't know, it had to be like 9 o'clock that morning, and she said she needed money for pans. So I told her, come down and get the money. I hand her $20.
$20 for pans.
For pans. I said to her, this is too much drama for the food. Why is this so much drama for the food?
You're referring to how many times she keeps coming back.
How many times she's coming back
and complaining that it's not enough money.
Exactly. She says to me, then she's going on, and I said, all right, but listen.
What's she saying?
well, this is your party. And I said, okay, fine. Here, take the $20. I have other stuff that I have to do. This is the day of the dance. I really can't stand here and listen to you right now. And she said, but we're talking business right now. And I said, but I have other things to do. And so
That's when he slammed the door
I
in my
started
face.
closing the door. She said, are you going to close the door in my face? I said, I'm asking you to leave from in front of the door. But she wouldn't leave. She kept standing there talking. So I closed the door.
Okay.
Right? About, I guess it was 10 minutes later, I get a phone call. It's on the other end. And she says, get your money from out the hallway and come get your food. So I went up to her apartment. And she said, do you have something to put the food in? And I said, no, I'll go get a box. So I went downstairs, got a box. When I went in front of my apartment, the $20 was laying on the floor.
Oh, goodness.
In the hallway, in the public hallway. And we have a 33-unit building, so that could have been anybody's $20. I just so happened to get to it first.
Okay.
and so I go in, I get the box, I go upstairs. On my way upstairs, I called a young lady on the 3rd floor, and I asked her, would she prepare the food? And she agreed to do it.
For how much?
And we didn't discuss the price.
But you paid her?
I gave her $100. She had to, for whatever reason, the beans that Jamila bought, this lady wouldn't cook. Jamila, I think, bought brown rice. She didn't cook with brown rice. She wanted white rice. And
how was the food?
The food was, because it was her seasoning, we couldn't get the seasoning off. Why
would you want to get the seasoning off?
Because
it wasn't good?
It was bland. Jamila is like, she's health conscious. When people are out drinking, having a good time, they don't care about health conscious. I explained this.
No truer words have ever
I
been spoken. Ever.
And
in my courtroom or beyond. When people are out drinking, they don't care about being health conscious.
I explained this to her several times when we did talk about the menu. I said, this should be real simple. It shouldn't be, you make the food tasty, make people like it, enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Don't go out of your way. I try to say that in so many different words.
So, Ms. Bahati, you quit on the morning of the party.
Of course, I couldn't take any more of his disrespect.
Okay, but what are you
his
suing for? I don't understand. He's already paid you $250 plus another $50. What are you suing for?
It's the work, Your Honor. That night before, I stood on my feet from 8 in the evening.
I don't care.
I put in work.
I don't care.
It's
not that I'm insensitive. It's that I don't understand the relevance of what you're telling me. You underbid the project, so you want an additional $250?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Could you throw a party for 100 people for $250?
Yes.
How?
Just on the food alone.
What do you do?
Get snacks. That's
like what? For 100 people? Like what? I'm serious.
I'm like water and chips.
Oh, great. Water and chips. Fabulous.
Wiener Schnitzel. We could probably get away with the chili cheese dog and some fries.
I don't think you could do 100 people for that. I don't think you could. What do you think?
No. Impossible.
I think that's the answer. Going inside the courtroom.
You offered to do it at $250. He offered for you to do it at $250. You accepted. That's called a contract. As the work progressed, you realized that you probably shouldn't have because it's too much work.
It wasn't all that drama.
You end up quitting.
It wasn't.
Throw the $20 in a hallway. Go upstairs and come get your food on the day of the party.
Right.
And then you go to court. He has to pay another $100. He's just going to eat it. But you
and that's
$100
he should have given me.
No, that's not the deal you struck.
If he had given that to me, everything would have been fine.
Why should he? No, he doesn't like you.
Because I told him.
He didn't want to spend another $100.
I told him.
He wanted to do it for the deal you cut.
I told him it wasn't enough from the beginning.
Tough. So you say that, and then you decide that you were going to turn a deal that you had for $250 for catering into a deal for $550 for catering.
And this job is worth at least $833.
I guess you learned something. Why don't you the next time charge $830 and find out if anybody's going to pay you $830 when you're calling them about paying us, baby.
It won't be a next time.
Yeah. Sir, you have a counterclaim against her for $150, but 50 of it is money you agreed to pay when you upped the people.
No. 50 of it is what she gave me a bill for all the money that she spent. That's That
Right, but it's something that you agreed to pay and you paid it. So that's like a modification of the contract. You paid her $50.
Right.
That was money to her. So apparently you had decided that, yeah, it's a $300 job, not a $250 job. And
No,
it's good for the, well, you paid it, right? Did someone
Yeah.
put a gun to your head?
Yeah.
You paid it. So no, you're not going to get it back. Here's what you're out. The day that happened, you had to go pay somebody another $100.
Right.
That's what you're out. On your lawsuit against him, $0. And on your counterclaim against her, $100. You're paying him $100. You can't change the deal, breach it, cause him to pay somebody $100 because you're insulted and you're standing on principle on the day of the party and not have it cost you.
He breached it
So
from the
my
beginning.
judgment is in favor of the defendant for $100. That's my judgment.
Thank you.
All right, hold on. Both sides, please, sir.
Just stay there for a second.
Well, how about them apples? He winds up getting $100 from you. Step in here. You bit off more than you can chew on this party, it sounds like.
Of course I did.
Well, that's the problem. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So whose fault is that?
I guess it's mine.
All right, so are you going to stay in this business and do this?
No, this was just a one-time thing.
A one-time thing. How'd it work out?
Not at all. Not
All right.
good.
Head right this way. Okay, great. All right, so step on in here, sir, and how about the drama? You stressed out?
Too much drama.
How about this drama right here?
Even coming here is just...
You don't like drama, do you?
Yeah, no, I don't. I try to be so simple and so plain. It's, yeah. But you know what? And overall, I'm just glad she told the truth. I thought she was going to come in and lie. I didn't think that she can win by telling the truth. And she came in and told the truth. So I admire her for that, if nothing else.
All right. All right, don't stress the guy out. All right, Officer McIntosh, hit him right up. All right, Harvey? Well, here's the moral. Do not make an agreement with anybody where it's impossible for you to fulfill your terms. That will do it for this case. Litigants, for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
This is the plaintiff, Sean Casack. He says he and his girlfriend were purchasing a home in Newtown, Connecticut, and they mistakenly hired the defendant, a so-called inspector, to inspect the house. They specifically told him they were concerned with termites. He did his examination and reported there were none to be found. Less than 2 months after they purchased the home, termites were in fact discovered, and it was obvious they were present for a very long time. They're now suing the defendant for $5,000, the amount they paid him, and the cost to treat their termite problem. This is the defendant, Gary Oleski. He says he's a state-licensed home inspector, and he did a thorough termite inspection on the plaintiff's potential home. He wrote a clean report. He has no way of predicting the future, and he owes the plaintiff zilch. He's accused of bugging out a home buyer. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,400 for loss of work and defamation of character.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant to inspect the home he was buying. The defendant said there were no termites. Wrong. The defendant says he did a thorough inspection, so it's not on his watch. It's the case of the termite-minator.
Thank you, Douglas. Sean Casack?
Yes.
And Lynn Lanziero?
Yes.
Okay. You are suing Gary Oleski, the person who you hired to do the home inspection on a home that you purchased because, according to you, he missed evidence that was readily apparent of termite infestation.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. So you bought a home how long ago?
We closed on the home on February 24th, 2012.
Okay. And you hired him to do the home inspection, not just for termites, but for a bunch of other stuff,
We
too.
hired him to do the entire home inspection.
And how much did he charge you for the home inspection?
He charged us $349.
Okay, and can I see the home inspection report?
Unfortunately, during the move and moving people in, we lost our copy of it. It was thrown out by people helping us move. I went to my realtor.
Who goes around throwing out your documents? Do you
My
have
mom
a
was
copy of the
helping
home
me clean
inspection
it.
report?
Yes, I do.
Let me see it. That's you who lost it. Why are you pinning it on the movers? That's crazy.
No, we didn't have any movers. We did it all ourselves.
All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the carbon copies that he's giving me and tell me, does this look like the contract you signed and your signature and the report that you got?
Short of reading through it page by page.
Well, is that your signature?
Yes.
Okay. So, according to you, he gives you a clean bill of health on the termites.
Correct.
Now, you had some evidence that there was termite infestation, correct?
Yes, what happened was 2 days prior to, our house had already been purchased. 2 days prior to the closing of the house, the person buying the house passed away. So they had a building inspector that was done. My realtor told me that that building inspector had detected termite damage in one specific area.
Of the house that you were
the house
buying?
that we're buying.
Okay.
So based on that, when I hired Gary, I brought him to that absolute specific area, and he says a visual inspection showed no active signs or visual damage from wood-destroying insects. That's an email from him to me.
Okay.
There was, about a month and a half after we purchased the house, termites swarmed in that area.
How did you find out they were swarming in that area?
Because my girlfriend yelled.
Okay. and it's a very specific shriek.
Yes.
Okay. And so you go out there and you actually physically see them swarming?
Physically see thousands of winged termites swarming.
Okay. No visible evidence of wood-destroying insects was observed. All right. Now, you ended up actually hiring somebody else to take care of the problem.
Had 3 different companies come out. I ended up hiring Eliminatum. He came out and said that there was clear evidence of termite infestation.
Did he show it to you?
He showed it to me.
Why couldn't you see it with your naked eye then?
I saw nothing. That's why I brought him initially to the basement area. He also found.
Is that specifically the place you told him?
That's point blank.
Or is the basement, or what had you heads up?
In that water room, that's point blank where I told him the termites were.
And now, so the new guy is showing you what?
The new guy is showing me that there was evidence and there was tunneling.
And the evidence was what? Mud trails?
Was mud tunneling.
Do you have a picture?
I do not have any pictures of any tunneling because it was all inside.
Inside what?
Inside the garage. There was also termites found inside the garage. Why don't you have pictures
if it was inside the garage?
Because I tried taking pictures and the pictures just did not show any justice. Termite tunneling.
Okay, but you have some pictures to show me, right?
I have pictures of damage to the garage. You have a video that they've downloaded showing that the section in between both garage doors was completely not even connected to the ground. It was rotted out.
Can I see the video?
Yep. This is what our building inspector missed. Look at this, how this is rotted out. Along with termites and ants, carpenter ants that have done substantial damage, we've had to treat.
Carpenter ants are the worst, aren't they?
And they're monsters.
They are the worst. They are the absolute worst. Because those are flying. At least you can run away from the regular termites, but you can't run away from the carpenter ants.
In addition,
So you paid how much?
Eliminatum came in and treated the home with drilling holes around the entire home, putting a liquid in.
How much did that cost you?
Total was $1467.36. Here's the receipt for that.
So you're suing for that. You also had to pay them an additional $225 for an inspection?
No, that was from another company, Avon Pest Control, that came out and confirmed the termite damage. There was absolute detectable termite damage prior to his inspection.
You have a letter from 2 companies saying that the kind of damage that they saw had to have been present well before the inspection in February, because they're looking at the damage in August and it couldn't have happened that quickly, correct?
Correct.
All right, talk to me and tell me what's going on.
I went up there when Neil was actually treating the house,
Neil is eliminate them.
Yes.
Eliminate them. And the only termite mud tunnel that we both agreed was there was in between two 2x4s in the garage door framing. And he actually had to pry those 2x4s apart to actually see the mud tunnel. That's
Can I
the
see
only
the
thing.
email from Neil? Because that's not what Neil says.
That's
Yes,
the only
absolutely,
thing Neil
you sure
saw.
can. I believe that
Okay.
might be that there.
Stretched from the ground level of the left side garage frame up to approximately 6 feet above ground level. They were continuous all the way up. He doesn't say they were hidden. And then he says that he spoke to you there and that your reaction to the mud tunnel was an immediate response similar to, I probably couldn't see it because of the swelling of the framing due to cold winter weather, which I think he was kind of mocking. In my opinion, swelling would not have affected the visibility of the mud tunnels I found. So Neil Vida, president of Eliminatum, does not agree with you that, that it was something you shouldn't have seen. He kind of feels pretty strongly it was something you should have seen. So now Mr. Kasich is suing you, Mr. Oleski, for $5,000. The amount that he paid to have the termites treated, which is kind of weird because if he had told you there were termites, he wouldn't have to foot the bill to treat them. So that's kind of greedy. Okay, he's suing you for the additional inspection, which he had to pay in order to find them and know that he had them, so I understand that. He's suing you for the garage repair, which I don't understand because if he had said you have evidence of termites, he wouldn't pay your garage repair. And he's suing you, and this one's interesting, for loss in a bargaining chip for the home due to the poor home inspection. I guess he's trying to get to the $5,000 limit. That's how he picked 240864. And yeah.
The home was being sold as is.
So can a competent inspector actually miss the fact that there are termites in the house?
Possibly, but that'd have to be bad, I think.
Well, if it's bad, then he'd see it. If he does a thorough job, is it possible he could miss termites?
I don't think it's possible, actually.
Anybody think that's possible?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about houses.
Okay, well, we'll have to educate you on bugs going inside the courtroom.
Even when it's as is, you had an inspection period where you could have bailed out.
I hired a professional.
Every home I've
to do
ever
the
bought
inspection.
is as is. So the fact that it's as is, if he's within the inspection period, he could always use it as a bargaining tool. It may not work, but he could. You have a counterclaim against them. You have a counterclaim against them for $3,400. Explain that one.
The realtors in Coldwell Banker that I've dealt with numerous times prior to this inspection, we were friends, we were business associates, we did inspections together. Since the plaintiff called them and, from what I heard, harassed them trying to find information about me, they've clearly moved to arm's length. I haven't heard from them since then, nor been given any business, or at least moved in the direction of a home inspection since then.
So he should pay you?
No, I was doing at least 6 inspections a year with that Coldwell Banker.
So you're suing him for $2,400 for the cost of 6 inspections at $400 apiece and $1,000 for defamation of character.
Yes. And minor
his
attorney.
opinion is you missed it, and he has 2 other people who say you missed it. So why would that be his fault and he would have to recompense you? He wouldn't.
Well, again, the 2 people that missed
All
it.
right, let me tell you what you should be saying to me, which you're not. Put your hand down. And let me ask you, and you, of course, have not read this because you didn't keep the document, you lost the document or whatever else. In the inspection agreement, and I looked for it because this is how all of them read. This is not, they all take it from the same source. The customer agrees and understands that the maximum liability incurred by the inspector / the company for errors and omissions in the inspection shall be limited to the greater of the amount of the fee paid for the inspection, which was $349, or $500. Now, these kinds of disclaimers certainly don't disclaim away negligence. You still got to do your job up to the standard of the industry. You don't get to say, oh, well, I'm not guaranteeing, in all these other places talks about, I'm not warranting there's no termites. That's fine, but you still got to do your job to the industry standard. But what this clause does do, and it's in very giant, bold font, what it does do is limit the damages to $500. Did you read that?
And again, I did not have my copy.
Yeah. Take a look at it and see if you have a response to that. And that's what you should be saying when you're sued.
Yeah, there's bold print above that in the center of that page. If Your Honor would please read that also.
Yeah, I read that. And, and like I said, you cannot negotiate away you did not negotiate away negligence in doing your job. I am sorry, Mr. Oleski, but I find that if I got two other people telling me that it was readily visible, I do find that your limitation of damages, which, as I said, is in every one of these inspection contracts I've ever seen, to 500 is an adequate enforceable limitation, and I find in favor of the plaintiff in this case in his lawsuit against you in the amount of 500 plus your court costs, and in your counterclaim 0. That's my judgment.
See what the defendant has to say coming out here on the losing end of this case. Seems like the job you did, according to the law here, was below the industry standard.
It's a visual inspection. I have no right to prod or poke or drill holes, which those other companies did.
No one's asking you to. Okay. Just do a better job. Could you or should you have done a little more thorough job?
They brought me directly to where they said the termite damage was, and there was no damage there.
No. So, all right.
Thank you.
All right, sir. So come on in here and tell me you satisfied with what you get out of this? You win the case, but you didn't know about the clause in the contract.
Yeah, the clause in the contract is fine. Whether I'm satisfied or not, doesn't matter. He did a shoddy job. He's saying poking and prodding and drilling holes. That's the treatment. That's not the identifying of the problem.
Come here. Take us to that moment that you suddenly discovered that swarm.
Well, I was vacuuming the area out, and I, physically saw them. They were flying and swarming all over the ground, and it was pretty scary.
Scream?
Scream. Loud.
Harvey?
These liability limitations are really prevalent in contracts like this, and it's very important before you sign, read exactly what those limitations are. It's right there in the contract. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to help you make the most of your summer with Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer worth playing for. Play for it with the guys when you're competing to see who can sink more birdies on the golf course, because winning tastes even better with Ultra on the line. Play for Ultra. Fill your fridge with Michelob Ultra this summer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is the plaintiff, Jihad Simmons. He says he was all set to move into an apartment the defendants were renting. And then, on his move-in day, they told him he couldn't have the place because the previous tenants were still there, and it was no longer available to him. Huh? They can't get away with that, because he was all set to live there, for goodness sakes. Now he's having a god-awful time getting his security deposit back from the two-timers, and is suing them here and now for the $1,295.10 he's owed. This is the defendant, Audrey. She says the plaintiff was all set to move in, then informed her he was going to be bringing in two very large pit bulls. These dogs were 100 pounds each. He never even mentioned them when she agreed to rent to him, and she told him he was no longer welcome. She knows her rights as a landlord since she's been one for 42 years and owes the plaintiff zip. She's accused of not letting a guy in.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says not only did the defendant refuse to let him move into the apartment he rented from her, she now refuses to return his deposit. But the defendant says the problem was the plaintiff wanted to move in with his two gigantic pit bulls. It's the case of I'll be doggone.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Jihad Simmons, you are suing Audrey and Harvey. You've asked us not to mention your last names for $1,295. Representing the return of your security deposit, plus bank fees, plus 3 days of lost wages in trying to battle this. Because according to you, they owe you the return of a security deposit when you couldn't move into an apartment through no fault of your own, you say.
Yes.
You tell me your side. I'll hear yours in a second. Go ahead.
Well, I spoke to her and her husband.
Did you know them from before?
Yes.
Okay.
I know them for previous years. I even bought my first car from them.
Okay, so you've known them for how long?
Since I was in high school,
okay.
I would say. So she told me they had a third floor apartment for rent, a 2-bedroom for $650. I said, all right. I said, can I bring my dogs? They said yes.
What kind of dogs did you have?
I have 2 pit bulls.
They said yes?
Yes, they said yes.
Did you say yes?
Your Honor,
Yes or no?
My
Did you
husband
say
and
yes?
No.
Okay. Did anyone say yes? Like, did your husband say yes? This is your husband or no?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. Who's this guy?
Super.
Okay. All right. Did somebody give it? Who, according to you, who said yes?
She said yes.
Okay.
They said,
according to you, you never said yes to 2 pit bulls.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Go ahead.
if she didn't say yes, I wouldn't have took the place. I wouldn't have agreed to move in. That's the only reason, because they said they would let me keep my dogs.
Okay.
Because I have a hard time everywhere else trying to move with them. They said yes. So we made the agreement. I gave her a $100 deposit. She gave me a $100 receipt. Then I gave her a $550 deposit the following weekend, and she gave me a receipt for that. Come to find out, the day of
Where were you living at that point?
With my mom.
And where were the dogs?
Out in Philadelphia, where my father lives.
Okay, and why are they in Philadelphia?
Because they can't stay where I'm at. My mom landlord.
How long have they been with your dad in Philadelphia?
Maybe about 7 months.
Okay, so go on.
I gave her the $550 deposit. She gave me receipts for both. Come to move in, the apartment wasn't available. She said people still lived there. Now, I never did view the apartment, but I trusted her word, being that we never.
You were renting an apartment sight unseen?
I gave her just a security deposit.
Did you hear me? You were renting an apartment sight unseen?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I gave her the security deposit. I wanted to move in. I told her
How much money in total did you give her?
$650.
Okay. Did she return any of the money?
$100 in cash, and I gave her the $100 receipt back.
Okay.
And she gave me a $250 check, which bounced.
Okay.
A few days after I deposited into my account.
Did that check clear later?
No.
Okay. Now what's going on?
We were going to rent to him until the day before that he was supposed to give me the first month's rent. He says, "Oh, by the way, I have 2 pit bulls that's in Pennsylvania. And they're about 100 pounds. And where I live, you must have muzzles on those dogs. I've been there about 42 years. I have never, ever rented to anyone that had dogs, pit bulls. I do have a little Shih Tzu, miniature.
Right.
But I'm the owner.
Right.
So I then went home and talked to my husband, and right away, I have that right.
Sure.
Before he stepped foot in that apartment, I just declined.
Well, you have the right because he was changing the game. If I believe your version, then you have the right. I mean, you can't just change it. I think you made a statement. I want to make sure that you're clear on this. In your answer to the complaint, you said, my understanding of the law is that I can change my mind about a tenant at any point before they move in. That's not the law. If you have a contract, you have to abide by the contract. But if somebody changes the game by telling you, oh, by the way, I have 2 100-pound pit bulls that are coming with me, then yes, you would have the right to say, oh, no, that's a game changer. You're breaching our agreement because I'm renting to you, not to 2 pit bulls, and so no, you can't come in with your 2 dogs.
Right.
You tell me, well, Judge, that makes no sense. Why would I ever do that? Because I know I have problems, moving in somewhere with dogs, so I would have said something from the beginning, except for that the dogs aren't with you. So maybe it's quite possible you were going to rent, and then your dad says, I'm sick of these 200-pound pit bulls. Figure yourself out if you're getting an apartment, and now you got to get the dogs. Now you turn around. There's all kinds of scenarios. It is not inconceivable that this was a bomb you dropped at the last minute. Now, he says that you told him that the people weren't moving.
Your Honor, that apartment has been empty since 2010.
Okay, so now here we are. Clearly, you would owe him $550 if that check bounced. Did that check bounce?
No, Your Honor.
Well, he says, show me your bank paperwork. Show me your bank paperwork. According to his bank, your check bounced. Let me see your paperwork. Do you have the whole statement or just that piece of paper?
I just photocopied.
I need the whole statement. Do you have it or no?
Sorry.
Okay, your statement says that the 250 was processed. His statement says it bounced. I need to see if in the rest of your statement that you're not showing me, it says that it bounced later. So I need the rest of your statement. I'm going to take a recess before I rule to give you a chance to get that online or however else you got to get it faxed to you here. Because otherwise I have no idea if you actually paid the 250. Okay. The fact that the check is here doesn't mean it wasn't reversed later when you dipped under the balance that you need to dip at and that you need to be at. But now tell me, because even if it's the 100 plus the 250, there would still be $300 missing. What's that about?
Prior to the renting or attempting to rent the apartment, Jihad came to my house for a whole week straight. He said, I need a loan. I said, what's going on? He had a Dodge Charger, I believe, and he was behind in car note. First he said he needed $700. I said, nah, I can't do that. He said, what about $500? I loaned him $500.
How long ago was this?
Oh, we going on a year. So he did attempt to pay me back $200.
He did pay you back
$200.
Okay, so he still owed you $300 from a previous
Right.
loan? What, did you owe her $300?
No, I don't owe her anything.
You paid the whole thing off?
I paid it all. We made an agreement. She wrote me a receipt saying that zero balance. I don't have it. I can't find it. But it's been over 2 years that this has been going on. When I did owe her the money, she was hounding me.
Okay, but you know that that's the reason, her whole defense to you is you owe me $300. And you didn't bring me anything to prove that you'd paid it? You could bring me the canceled checks, you could bring me receipts, you claimed she gave you a receipt. And you don't have that?
No, I don't.
Excuse me.
All right, I'm going to take a recess. You need to get your act together and get the rest of the statement so I can figure out if that $250 was paid or wasn't paid, okay? Court's in recess.
All rise. So suppose the lease says nothing about dogs, one way or the other. Do you have to disclose to your landlord that you're moving in with dogs?
I don't think so. I think if it's not in the lease, I don't think the burden is on the tenant to make disclosures.
What do you think?
I don't think so. I think it's not on the lease. Just move right in.
Does it matter to you that these dogs were 100-pound pit bulls?
Absolutely not. That has nothing to do with it.
So you could just move in?
You just move in. It's not on paper. He shouldn't have to worry about it.
Interesting. Okay. Please. Going inside the courtroom.
Okay, had a chance to talk to your bank?
Yes.
And in fact, the check bounced?
It did bounce that day.
The rest of that statement would have said that, right?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Okay. It did bounce, and what were you going to say after that?
And had he redeposited?
That's not redeposit. Just don't bounce checks.
Okay.
He doesn't have to redeposit it. They charge him $35 every time you don't do what you're supposed to do. Why should he risk it again? So without a doubt, there's no question you owe him $285. The question is, do you owe him those other $300? Your position is, I paid it all off. Her position is, Judge, I owe money, but not this $300 because he still owed it to me. When your defense is payment, that burden of proof in court belongs to you to prove you paid it. You, unlike other people, are apparently in a unique position to prove that because somewhere, had you bothered to find it, you have a receipt that, according to you, proves that you, in fact, paid it. I just got to figure out if you still owe her the money or not. And I find that you still owe her the money because you're not able to prove to me that you paid it off back then. So because of that, I find in your favor, for a net judgment of $285. Why did you say your bank fees were $45?
They charged me
35 and then another 10. I did see
10,
that.
yes.
So that would be $295. I'm not going to order her to pay you lost wages on this kind of case. I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $295. Good luck, folks.
We'll see what the defendant thinks about the plaintiff. Come on in here. Collecting right over here, right up here. Collecting $295 against you in this case.
Oh, that's okay.
Why is that all
right? You just gotta screen your tenants or future tenants.
Yeah, don't go yet. Did you think what happened with the dogs? Do you think he? You say he didn't say anything, right? About the dogs.
I wouldn't have two pit bulls
I know.
in
Do you
my
think
house.
he tried to sneak him in past you at the last second, or
I don't
what
know.
do you
That's a good
why
question.
would he
You
show
should-
up with two pit bulls?
That's a good question
Well,
to
why do
ask
you
Mr.
think
Simmons.
he did show up with two pit bulls like that?
Well, it is what it is.
Thank
Look
you.
who we're dealing with.
Head right down there. Great. All right, so step on out here, sir. Are you satisfied how this thing comes out? You didn't get everything you sued for.
No, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what to say, It just...
If she okayed the dogs, why would she change her mind at the last second?
I have no idea. I don't know what to say.
All right, Harvey.
So it's not 100% clear on the duty of disclosure. I will say this, that when somebody moves in, you do have a duty to say who else is moving in with you if there are 2 or 3 other people. As for pets, frankly, I think judges could go either way on this thing. There are some judges who would say, hey, just like a person, you have to disclose a pet even if the lease is silent. By the way, you can check us out on Twitter and Facebook. People's Court, we're always here for you.